Welcome back to Life Stories where real experiences meet raw emotion. Today's story is one of love, betrayal, and the unexpected freedom that comes when truth finally surfaces. What would you do if the person you trusted most only loved you for what you could give? In this deeply personal tale, one man tests the limits of love, only to uncover a devastating reality and an empowering new beginning. Subscribe to our channel to start today's story with life stories. Don't forget to hit the bell so you never miss a journey that just might change the way you see your own. I still remember the look on Madison's face the night I told her I'd lost my job. Not sadness, not worry, just the faintest smirk, like she'd been waiting for the moment. It was a cool Friday evening in late autumn, the kind where the city outside seems to whisper of change, leaves swirling in the wind, headlights painting long streaks across rain-slick streets. Inside our apartment, everything was still. Too still. I told her calmly, "Madison, I was let go today." She sat across from me on the cream leather couch. She'd insisted on buying the one she said made us look successful. She didn't ask how I was feeling or what we would do. She just tilted her head slightly, arms folded, and said, "You lost your job? Then you've lost me too. I want a divorce." Her words landed like a stone in a still pond. I stared at her, letting the silence stretch between us. "Why?" I finally asked, though some part of me already knew. She shrugged, not unkindly, but coolly, like someone stating a fact rather than delivering heartbreak. "I married you for your money, Ethan. No money, no love. It's that simple." And just like that, the truth was out. What she didn't know, and this is the part that matters, is that I hadn't lost my job at all. In fact, I'd never been in a better place professionally. A year ago, I'd started building a consultancy business on the side. Tired of the corporate grind, tired of chasing promotions that felt more like shackles than success, I had slowly crafted something of my own. Clients were coming in steadily, tech startups from Austin, boutique firms from the East Coast. I was already earning more than I had in my old role, but I hadn't told Madison. I needed to know who she really was when there was no more glitter, when life didn't look polished and curated like her social media feed. And now I knew. She didn't shed a tear. She didn't pause. She simply stood, picked up her phone and muttered, "I'm going to Travis's. We're done." Travis. That name stuck, though it didn't surprise me. I'd seen the way she smiled at her phone late at night, the nights she claimed she was out with clients, the unfamiliar cologne that sometimes clung to her. I had hoped naively, perhaps, that I was wrong. "Just like that?" I asked, rising to my feet, my voice trembling in a way I hadn't anticipated. "You are walking out?" She didn't even look up from her screen. "You can't give me what I need anymore." And she left. I stood there for a long time after the door clicked shut. The quiet that followed felt unreal, the kind of silence that wraps around your bones, that echoes louder than any scream. I sat back on the couch, our couch, and stared at the spot she'd been sitting just moments earlier. I could have stopped her, told her the truth, that the job loss was a fabrication, that I wanted to see her heart, not her Instagram-worthy life. But I didn't. I stayed silent. Because deep down, I already had my answer. What hurt the most wasn't the betrayal itself, it was how easy it had been for her to throw everything away. 5 years. 5 years of building a life together, of laughter and shared dreams, of small rituals like Friday wine nights and Saturday morning pancakes, all erased in a heartbeat when the illusion of wealth disappeared. But alongside the pain, there was something else. A strange and quiet sense of relief, like an invisible weight I hadn't noticed was gone. I poured a glass of whiskey, the cheap kind Madison hated, and raised it to the empty room. "To freedom," I whispered, letting the warmth of the liquor burn its way through the coldness she left behind. That night, I didn't cry. I didn't rage. I opened my laptop, stared at the emails from real clients needing real solutions, and knew one thing for certain. She was never really my partner, just a tenant in a life she didn't help build. And now, finally, she was gone. 3 months later, I had become someone I barely recognized, but in the best way possible. Gone was the quiet, obliging version of myself who ignored the warning signs and excused the late nights. Gone was the man who built a life with someone who never bothered to ask about his dreams, only his salary. Instead, I'd stepped fully into the life I'd been building all along. My consultancy wasn't just surviving, it was thriving. I'd signed contracts with a hotel group in Denver, a law firm in Manhattan, and even a retail chain expanding into Europe. Every deal validated what I already knew. I was more than just a paycheck in a suit. I was good at this. I traded the suburb and its empty echoes for a high-rise apartment in downtown Chicago. Glass walls, clean lines, no room for ghosts. I hit the gym again, started cooking for myself, bought a car that didn't sputter when it rained. For the first time in years, I liked the man I saw in the mirror. And then she came back. It was a grey Thursday afternoon when the buzzer rang. I was in the middle of a client call, one of the gym chains from Seattle looking to revamp their operations. At first, I ignored it, but when it buzzed again, sharp and urgent, I checked the camera. It was Madison. She looked nothing like the polished woman who had walked out 3 months ago. Her eyes were puffy, her hair pulled into a messy bun, rain dripping from her coat. She looked lost. I ended the call, not because I wanted to see her, but because I needed to hear what she'd say. I didn't offer her a towel. She didn't ask for one. "This is nice," she said, eyes flicking around my apartment. "You've done well. What do you want, Madison?" She hesitated. For a moment, I saw a flicker of vulnerability, but it was quickly replaced by something else. Calculation. I made a mistake. I shouldn't have left. I didn't know about the business. I thought you were broke. I said nothing. "I heard what people are saying," she went on, stepping closer. "About you. About your work. Everyone's talking about how well you're doing." "And now you're here," I said, trying to slide back in because the new guy didn't pan out. She flinched. "Travis, turned out to be a mistake. But that's not why I'm here. I love you, Ethan. I always have." "No," I replied, voice low but firm. "You loved what I gave you. When that disappeared, even just for a moment, you ran." Her expression hardened. "You lied to me. And you lied for years." The silence between us was thick, bitter. I crossed my arms and nodded toward the door. "Rachel's waiting on your signature. Sign the divorce papers, Madison. We're done." For a second, she looked like she might beg, but instead, she grabbed her knock-off handbag and stormed out, leaving a trail of water in her wake. And me? I didn't feel empty. I felt clean. Madison didn't go quietly. A week after she left my apartment for the second and final time, the first shot landed. I was prepping a pitch for a new client, a cozy coffeehouse chain based out of Portland, when my assistant, Jen, walked in with her phone in hand and a worried look on her face. "You seen this?" she asked. It was a post on X, some local gossip account that catered to startup drama. There it was, my name, Ethan Blake, accused of fraud, dishonesty, and false promises. Attached were screenshots of what looked like emails from me, emails offering miraculous results in exchange for outrageous fees, then disappearing once the check cleared. Fake, all of it, but polished just enough to plant seeds of doubt. I knew who was behind it before Jing could say another word. Madison. She'd warned me, "If I can't have you, I'll make sure no one else does." I hadn't taken her seriously. That was a mistake. I called Rachel immediately. She stayed calm, as always. "Defamation suits are slippery," she said, "but we've got something stronger now." She's still stalling the divorce, which means we can legally access the old joint accounts. And guess what? I found email backups. The truth came flooding in like a broken dam. Madison hadn't just left me for Travis when she thought I was broke. She'd been cheating long before the night I told her about the job. The emails were brutal, flirty exchanges, secret meetups, even photos. One line stood out. "Ethan's clueless. He pays for everything." That night, I didn't reach for the whiskey. I didn't want the burn. I wanted clarity, focus. Rachel and I compiled everything: emails, texts, bank statements, timestamps. We handed it over to Tyler, the journalist who'd covered the earlier fake scandal. When he read the file, his eyes widened. "She's been trying to bury you," he said. "But this flips the whole story." Then came the gala. It was a sleek networking event, top consultants, CEOs, Investors all gathered in a hotel ballroom near the lake. I hadn't planned to attend, but when Pete, an old friend and mutual acquaintance, messaged me that Madison would be there talking trash, I changed my mind. I walked in wearing a sharp navy suit, evidence folder tucked neatly under my arm. Tyler was beside me, recording everything. Madison spotted me halfway through her performance, her voice already telling a group how I had lied, cheated, and ruined her life. I let her speak, then I stepped forward. Funny you mentioned lies, I said. Shall we talk about the love affair? The fake emails? The setup? Tyler began reading from her old messages. The room fell silent. The truth echoed louder than her accusations ever had. She fled. The next morning, Tyler's expos dropped. Consultant Claire's name, ex-wife caught in fraud smear campaign. Clients called back. New ones reached out. Rachel texted. She signed the papers. Divorce is final. A week later, at the same coffee shop where Madison once saw my car, I met Sarah. She spilled her latte and laughed it off. We talked. It was simple, real, no games. And that night, staring at the city lights from my apartment, I raised an empty glass not to wealth, not to revenge, but to self-trust. Madison had left thinking I'd fall apart, but I didn't. I rose. In the end, it wasn't about revenge. It wasn't about proving anything to Madison or even to the people who doubted me during the chaos. It was about proving something to myself. I had lost someone I once thought I couldn't live without. But in truth, I'd only lost the illusion of love. What remained, what I rebuilt, was something real. I found clarity, peace, and a version of myself that had been buried under years of trying to please someone who never really saw me. Sarah and I are still getting to know each other. It's slow, it's genuine, and for once, I'm not afraid to take my time. I don't know what the future holds, but I've learned that real connection doesn't come from money or status, it comes from showing up honestly, even when it hurts. The apartment is quieter these days, but it's my space, my life, and every part of it was earned. Every late night, every deal, every difficult conversation, it all led me here, and I wouldn't change a thing. So if you're listening to this, and you've ever been where I was questioning everything, holding on to someone who only saw your worth in numbers, know this. You deserve more. You deserve someone who sees you. Not your paycheck, not your car, not your lifestyle, but you. Thanks for sticking with me through this journey. It's been raw, it's been real, and it's just the beginning. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to Life Stories for more powerful, true-to-life tales that dig deep into love, loss, and the lessons we carry with us. Tap the bell so you never miss a moment that just might change the way you see your own. Until next time, stay strong, stay honest, and never forget your worth.